Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Couch Potato Queen's Bachelor Recap. I am your host, Alex Meitz, and we have our other host here, Ken. There she is. And we are very excited to have a guest on today. We have Steph. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Steph.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I am Stefani Greenspan, and I'm really excited to be here. Just a small recap. I am from Birmingham. I live in Birmingham, Michigan, and my fun fact is that I used to work at Disney World.
What?
Cool.
What did you do?
Well, I tell people I was Princess Jasmine because I think I look like her, but I actually worked at the Polynesian Resort at the Luau.
Work.
Literal
cool. Work.
Yeah. But it was a blast.
Very cool. Well, we are excited to have you on, and we are excited to get into this episode of The Bachelor. And honestly, in comparison to a few other episodes, this episode was honestly pretty tame.
It was. It was, minus a couple of things.
That's saying a lot when there is a full-blown fight over a girl being an escort or not.
Being added to the show. So yeah, it says a lot.
I wonder if they just threw that in there because the episode was kind of boring.
This is actually from episode 7, but we gotta put it in now.
Yes.
Right.
So we open this episode and the opening to this episode is really weird for me, honestly. And because we are getting the date that got interrupted last week by Sarah's departure. And we see Matt a little bit at the beginning. He's upset that Sarah left still. He's talking about it. At this point, we're all kind of ready for that plot to be done. And it is. That's the last we hear of it.
That is all.
Then we get into this group date. And on this group date, it's a cocktail party. They each get their one-on-one time. Chelsea has a cute moment where she gets to talk about why she shaved her head. And they kiss. And that's really the whole date.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting that she thought she had she was going off her hair as like her trauma story. As someone who's obsessed with having long hair, and I've had real extensions, fake extensions, like I still couldn't relate to this. Like I was like, there's more trauma than your hair. I don't want to say anything negative, but I just thought it was a really interesting trauma story, and especially because I can relate to it. So I don't know. I just had never heard of a trauma story in regards to hair. But if she can shave off her head and get that out of the way, good for her. I mean, I like the story behind it.
I thought she looked fierce with hair, and she looks fierce without hair. So I'm like, girl, you look great no matter what you do. So
yeah, I agree. I think that they probably didn't show us some of the conversation that was more race-based, because black hair is a big thing, or hair is a big thing for Black women. So I think that we kind of missed out on some of that conversation, but I think that's where she was going with it.
100%.
Yeah.
That's very on brand for The Bachelor to truncate that kind of conversation.
To whitewash it? Yeah, definitely.
You'll mention this, but only enough to make you comfortable.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. This
One
date was weird. I had no idea what was, did we miss something?
Right?
Why was it just the cocktail party? Where was the activity?
No idea.
From last week, I'm trying to remember.
That's what I don't think so.
Last week, the other group went on a date where they had to write porn.
Yeah.
So imagine being a girl on the date where you had to write porn, and then you heard that the date the next day was just a cocktail party.
Right. I think it's weird. I'm looking through my notes from last week when there was no date. Yeah. Yeah, there was no date. Last week ends. The last date we see is Serena P.
Yeah.
with her one-on-one. And then Sarah, so I think Sarah took over the daytime date, because then the next day is when Sarah goes to his house and it's daytime. And so she probably, I don't know if she took that long there. It didn't really seem like it, but he was probably like too emotionally distraught and was just like, let's just go to dinner tonight, ladies.
And you know it, Lori. Of course, we find a way to talk about Chris Harrison's book porn again.
Wait until the book comes. I'm going to read it for all of you.
We will do a special episode where we read Chris Harrison's erotica.
It might be 4 hours long, but
the boxing date was later in the
later.
That was later. This episode's date. So the date we're seeing at the beginning of the episode was the continuation of last week's episode that we didn't get to see.
Yes.
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 So, and we cannot wait for this book porn either, Lori. We're very excited. So we do finally get to the end of this group date.
Yes.
And yeah, it happened all right.
That's about it. There's really nothing to say about it. Like, that's really it.
One rose. I would have been surprised if anyone else did, because we didn't see anything else.
Right.
Kind of the most anticlimactic rose I've ever seen. So
yes.
Yep. I agree.
We do then cut to Queen and Katie. And Queen and Katie are talking about everything that has gone down with Sarah. And Katie's honestly kind of the first person to put Queen in her place, really, in this conversation. Queen just kind of lays it out there. She doesn't skirt around what's going on. She's not afraid to tell Queen that she's acting immature. She just says, no, you're kind of being a bitch, and I'm not going to, sugarcoat this. I think you're acting immature. And you can really see it on Queen's face that she's kind of taken back by that. So snaps to Katie for standing up to our queen. Yes, Lori.
I feel that typically when they have someone that stands up to the villain, they edit them really badly. I think Katie's getting a great edit, in my opinion.
I agree. I'm really liking Katie in this moment, and she continues doing this as we go on. So I can see this being like, this is part of her personality. Like, she knows she's on a show, but she's also not going to let people bully each other. I think that's neat.
Yeah.
And and I loved that she said that she wished Queen would express herself more truly. And Queen's response was, instead of with name calling, and Queen's response was that name calling was her way of expressing herself. It's like, what a bitch. Like, really?
Great.
That's how you express yourself? Are you 6? Like,
something else.
I don't know if any of you guys saw over the weekend, but a mugshot of Queen actually has surfaced. And it says that she stole like $350 worth of merchandise from a department store.
I read makeup from a grocery store.
Yeah.
I heard it's also kind of ironic considering it doesn't look like she wears that much. So it's weird that that's what she stole. It's just ironic, like
that was part of her parole.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it.
Oh my God, Lori.
Very good question.
I really hope that was her audition tape. Just her stealing makeup from a grocery store.
It was, I think, in 2012, but you never know. The Bachelor was around then.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So we do, very early in the episode, we get to our rose ceremony.
Yes.
And Queen says that she will be the first one to talk to Matt because she really needs to talk to him. And then Anna also says that she's going to be the first to talk to Matt. But surprise, neither of them are the first to talk to Matt. It is Piper. And honestly, this is the first interaction we've seen from Piper. I was watching, I'm like, who is this girl?
I know. That's what my notes literally say. I don't know who the first girl he talks to is, but I like her.
Yeah, it's a guy.
Piper with 4 question marks behind it.
Now, was this the part right before the other girls came?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there was a point too where they're like, oh well, I have plenty of time with Matt. Only 5 girls haven't spoken to him. The night's still young, and it's first of all, I think so awkward because one, who talks like that, and two, they're foreshadowing that something's about to happen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know that there is some tomfoolery going on when they're showing girls civilly speaking on the couch.
Right.
Yes. And they're like, oh, this is all such a lovely situation. It's so easy now.
Right. So
Queen does finally get her time with Matt. They're having a lovely conversation that is very surface, not really seeing any actual connection there.
No, she's having a hard time because she doesn't know if he's interested.
Are you interested in me? Surprise,
Really?
Chris Harrison. Chris Harrison whisks Matt away and takes him out front because surprise, surprise, baby, maybe Matt hasn't met the woman of his dreams yet because more women are on the way, baby, and are ready to meet him. Oh my God, Lori, yes. Have you noticed Matt has never kissed Queen?
Unless she forces him, like that one really awkward time.
Yeah.
Can I get a guess? He just tries to get rid of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell that production is like, you're keeping Victoria.
Yep, definitely.
He's like, definitely. And they're like, no, you're keeping Victoria. But you know what? We love to see it. I think the episode would have been boring without Victoria. So keep her. You know what? Victoria for the win.
We love to hate her. I know everyone's like, get her off the show, but let's just be honest. She makes the show entertaining. Oh, yeah. We're tuning in to watch her every week, and we don't want to admit it.
Oh yeah. Like, what would we be talking about if Queen was not on the show?
Nothing, obviously.
Honestly.
No. I was expecting Kit to be the villain too, but she hasn't shown any villain vibes yet.
I know. I agree. Just been mean to Sarah and given Matt a snow globe.
It's fucking snow globe.
I know. Like, I want to see more of Kit because I think she could be really good TV. Her and MJ both.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with MJ after this episode, but
Kit is definitely a mean girl, and I want to see that side, baby.
Me too. I want to see that little catty New York girl.
And
MJ's
gonna be
little New York's fashion entrepreneur. I think MJ's a mean girl too. I don't like her anymore.
Honestly, I feel like they casted a House of Mean Girls because Matt is so nice.
Yeah, right? Which brings me, like, that's gonna, like, come back around at the end for me.
Right.
FYI.
I think they did it on purpose, and that takes us into our next group of girls because we are getting some different kinds of girls in this. Our first girl that comes out is Brittany from Chicago, and Brittany makes out with Matt immediately
in a black sparkle dress that I was obsessed with. Like,
I know, it was gorgeous.
Honestly, I think there was only one dress that topped that dress in this episode, and I'll say it when we get there. But she looked fierce. She looked great. Brittany goes inside, and Queen has some real mean comments to say about. You just sat up in your room as backup, quarantining by yourself.
Great that Victoria says what's on our mind, or it's just plain evil because a part of it is real.
Yeah, like you can't script all of these lines.
No.
Like 90% of what Queen says is genuine, and then the other 10% they're like, you need to say something mean here, and then she just like says what's on the top of her head.
Yeah. Or someone's always just like, Queen, what do you think?
What is your take on this thing that doesn't pertain to you?
Yeah.
Our next girl that comes out is Michelle, and immediately I got great vibes from Michelle. Michelle seems like wife material. She seems great. She's
Mm-hmm.
from Minnesota. She's a
100%.
teacher. Perfect for Matt.
Perfect.
Check
Yeah.
like, where was she day one? Really?
I 100% agree.
Yeah, you knew they were holding Michelle out for this on purpose because she is now the one to beat.
Yes,
Honestly.
I 100% agree. 100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we'll for sure talk more about her later, but just from that meeting, it was like, wow.
A breath of fresh air.
Yeah, honestly, the most genuine person on the show.
Yes. We'll talk more about her later because we get to learn more. We don't know much right now.
Yes.
Not enough yet. So our next person is Kimberly, who is an ICU nurse from LA, and this is the dress of the episode.
Yes, it is.
Kimberly, spoiler right now, Kimberly does not last long, but damn girl, you look great in that dress.
So great. It's like, it was so brightly colored. It had like little cap sleeves with a little like bra type top when it was open in the middle and then, straight down. It was just all bright and colorfully splotted. I couldn't really tell what the spots were, but it was so pretty. And it looked great with her short dark hair.
And you couldn't forget it. It was easy to spot her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought about that dress since I saw it.
I want that dress.
Dude, I am a thick bitch. And
you would look good in that dress.
I would look great in that dress.
Everyone would look great in that dress.
Like, everybody would look great in that dress. So
it's just so pretty.
Kimberly, props to you. Bro.
Yeah, where'd you get it?
Best dress of the season. I'll say it. Best dress of the season. I've yet
we'll see who tops it.
Anything better than this. Not a single outfit.
I 100% agree.
Next, we get Ryan. Ryan's a dancer from New York City, baby. And that's really all we know.
Yep.
There he is. And last, we get Catalina, who is Miss Puerto Rico Universe. And she's wearing a crown and a sash. So we know why she's here.
Comes in with a crown. Like, come on.
And immediately, Queen Daggers rips the crown off of her head. Yes, Tori, we're all in shock in that moment. But were we really in shock?
No, we knew it was going to happen. I think we were just in shock that it was so soon. Like, she didn't even give it 5 seconds. Immediately, when she walked in, she was like, excuse me, I'm the queen of this house, so I'll just take that. Thank you.
What would you do if you were wearing any kind of accoutrement on your head and a whole ass stranger during a pandemic?
Right?
I have no idea.
Ripped it off your head.
I don't know. I think it would depend like what level of her face was at. I think I'd like slap her or kick her in the face. It was like, what? Don't touch me. What are you doing?
My mouth would drop that's actually happening.
Yes.
That's really funny that you say that, Steph, because Claire just said my jaw dropped.
That's what I think too. I also think that the Bachelor producers, since Colton season, a light bulb went off. And with the Hannah B and Kaylin feud, and they're like, we need more pageant girls on this show. And now that's what we're gonna cast every season.
Pageant girls are great.
Yeah, she didn't even wear it. She just threw it on the table.
Not yours.
I honestly do not know why Catalina stood for that. I
don't either. I thought she was gonna say something, but then again, if she's a pageant girl, she might actually like have her shit together.
Yeah.
Know how to like
what girl
put herself up in front of cameras.
You are holding yourself with decorum.
Yes.
So, great. All the girls are all the varsity team as they've themselves. The OGs are pretty fucking mad at this point. We're getting Anna literally storms off. She's so mad. She says that she recognizes Brittany from back home in Chicago and that she has some dirt on this girl, but that's all we hear of it for now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, off everyone. Oh, we're going to bring in new girls. And these girls are vicious. They are so mad at these 5 girls like it's their fault. Like it was their idea to show up and crash the party.
Yeah, like they were like the ones who were like, hey, let's get together and let's like call Bachelor and be like, hey, we want to be on next week.
I know that you hey, Chris Harrison, I know you casted us on The Bachelor, but could we come on season or episode 4 instead? I just think it would be fun.
It's all their idea. They're like, this isn't fair. What is fair in a reality show? I mean, it is insane that they're like, this is not fair. They are pissed. It's like the worst thing that's ever happened to them that these guys have shown up.
I kind of wish that Sarah would have stuck around for this because I feel like Sarah's meltdown would have just been like, mwah. Like it would have been priceless. Sarah could not have handled this.
No.
Man, that's like my only.
I think they brought in these 5 girls to replace Sarah because they were like, shit, Matt really liked Sarah.
Gotta get 5.
Sarah stayed. Then
Lori.
The new girls, like they would have liked Sarah more. They're like, okay, she's on our side. So it would have helped her if she stayed because she didn't know the 5 new girls were coming. And now she would have bonded with the varsity team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. She could have had like her own little squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
They're going to fix their problem.
Hot take, Steph.
That is a hot take.
I like that. That is a very hot take. So we do get a little montage of Matt meeting all the girls, the new girls. That's
Rachel calls them new toys.
Yeah, all the girls are mad. Queen gets her finished time with Matt.
Sort of.
Kind of. It's interrupted by Brittany. Queen's pissed. And you can see kind of the anger that she had from Sarah is now kind of getting directed towards Brittany. There's always got to be one. We had Marilyn first. Then we had
Marilyn.
Sarah. Now we have Brittany. So
yeah, we thought it was going to be Catalina, but I don't think she's very threatened by Catalina yet.
No, because Catalina just submitted. Catalina down.
Yeah. So Brittany's her next target.
Yeah, Brittany's the target, I would say. Brittany has the curse of Queen, so we'll see if she lasts more than one episode with the curse.
Good luck to her.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's usually how it goes. They last one rose ceremony, and that's it when you have the curse of Queen. So Matt does address the group, and he looks so uncomfortable, and I've never seen Matt look so uncomfortable addressing the group when there's these 5 new girls. So
yeah, I mean, he says that he's stressed and this is awkward and that he knows there's going to be drama and he doesn't want to be there for it. So good luck to him.
I don't blame you, Matt.
A long show.
Yeah. You got a long journey ahead of you.
It's like Matt didn't realize that he was going to be the Bachelor. Like,
he has no idea. He hasn't planned a single date on his own. He has no idea what he's doing.
Absolutely. Queen is really only there for entertainment.
Yeah, maybe now she is just like.
But she's doing it well.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, get your Instagram followers. You do it. I followed her.
Did you?
I did. I followed her. Me and Katie followed her. We both did.
I abstained. I said, I'm not going to give you this currency.
Her Instagram's honestly it bums me out how put together it is.
Oh, I've looked at it. Yeah,
I know. I'm like, man, I wanted this to be sloppy.
She's on TV now.
We do get into the rose ceremony, and our first rose, and I just want to note throughout this whole thing, Anna is making the biggest stank face I've ever seen. I would like to see, if you can, your just impressions of Anna's stank face during the rose ceremony. I just like to see what you think. I got
I also could be confusing the confessionals because her confessional was the whole rose ceremony.
Yeah, it was.
Every time Anna talks, she's like, I don't know why all these girls don't understand that I'm the one who wants to talk to Matt. I'm like, what is up with her mouth?
It's so weird.
Oh my
All I
God.
remember of her face is like her teeth are always just out.
We love to see it, Anna.
Yeah.
Great television.
You're a beautiful girl.
Surprise this week.
So we get our rose ceremony going, and we get MJ with the rose, Piper, Bree, Maggie, Michelle, a new girl, Mari, Ryan, our dancer, new girl, Kit, Serena C, who was very worried she would not get a rose, and a girl, me too. Where have you been?
She was worried.
Abby, Katie, Queen,
Yep.
Lauren, Brittany, to Anna's dismay, Jasenia, who I forgot was there, and Anna finally gets her rose. And our last rose goes to Miss Puerto Rico Universe, Catalina. And we say goodbye to Kimberly, R.I.P. the best dress of all time. And we say
you know what?
Sorry,
you know what? I'm not surprised because all she talked about with Matt was her Sharpay and how he drools all the time. So just a heads up. Like that's all she talks about. So she has a fighter dog and this really pretty dress. And I was like picturing this like Asian woman with this really pretty dress with this giant Sharpay. I love it.
If your hot topic of conversation is your Sharpay, that conversation is not going too well.
This is the first thing
we say goodbye to Kylie and we say goodbye to Kayla. To refresh, Kylie was the one who showed up in lingerie and asked Matt to pick out her outfit. And Kayla was the one who showed up in a pickup truck. And I thought we had a great thing going. So that one really surprised me.
Me too.
Steph,
did anything about this rose ceremony stand out to you or surprise you?
You know, it wasn't, but I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks this, but if any Bachelor producer is watching, I wish they would put the names more often because I feel like I have everyone down and then a rose ceremony happens and then I don't know who anyone is. And
yes.
I don't know anyone who feels that way. And I felt like if we had more names like throughout, it would just be easier to know because there's so many people. And then I throw in 5 more and now I'm all nervous. The only thing that surprised me was that 4 of the 5 new girls stayed. And I thought that was really interesting. I was surprised that any of them stayed. Now I'm not like watching it, but at the time I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah. I thought maybe like 2 would stay. I didn't think all 5 would stay. Yeah. Right. Or all 4. Not all 5 stayed.
I thought that maybe Michelle and Brittany would stay.
Yeah, I didn't think Ryan was going to say.
Right. Yeah, that one surprised me because their conversation was just random.
Yeah, it wasn't. I like keep forgetting who she is already.
I know.
And she's a new girl, so I'm supposed to be focusing on her.
Yeah. Right.
One thing that I was confused about is only 3 people did not get a rose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So if the 5 new girls hadn't have shown up, how many roses would there have been?
They did say that there's like the same amount of roses, but I don't think there is.
There couldn't have
That's
been.
confusing.
Yes, there's not a lot to send home, and there's like 30 girls still there.
Unless there was more girls that I didn't see.
That we didn't catch. Yeah, there had to have been.
I went back and I like watched when they were like panning between like who was still standing there without a rose.
Right.
And that's all I saw.
I think you're right. I think they just make it seem like they're sending home more. Back in the day, old Bachelor, they would like cut it in half. So you start with 30, then you're at 15, then you're at 10, then you're at 5. You know, now it's like they send home 2, 3, you know, so it's easier to stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is also the biggest group ever. So they might be trying to keep it like they might just be pacing it out differently.
As it should be, because nobody's doing anything. So if they can cast more people and get them, you know, away from their homes for a little bit, I mean, you know, at least they're some people.
I feel like next week or the following week we might get a big cut.
I agree. Give them a chance to get to know these other girls first, and then Yeah, he'll have to cut a bunch.
Maybe like in the next 2 episodes, we'll get like a real big cut, and then we'll pop down to the one person leaves an episode.
Yeah, I could see that because the show is only supposed to be 2 months long, so they're not there for very many weeks.
Right.
Yeah. That's true. But the rose ceremony is over. Chris welcomes the new 4 girls the next day, and we get a date card, and all of the girls are going to be real mad if all of the new girls are not on the group dates. So they better be on these cards, or they're
going to direct their anger at the new girls, which is obviously the right place to do it, right? Because they write up those date cards. I mean, it's crazy. They just get mad at these girls who are completely innocent. It's awful.
I know.
It is.
I almost feel, I'm like, why are any of them agreeing to be the one who reads the date card? Because all the anger gets projected at the person.
And usually they're not even on it. I always think like the person that's reading it's not on the date card. And I don't know, I would never read a date card if I was on it because I feel like they're never on it. But
I know. I'm like, I'm not going to read a date card. Sorry.
Like a smile or a move because they all do. And I'm like, is that required when your name is on the date card? I've always wondered that.
Melissa?
That's so funny.
Chastity?
I love it. I love it.
Melanie C.
So who's on this date?
So who is on this date is Mari, Bree, Abigail, Brittany, our new girl, Ryan, our new girl, Catalina, our new girl, Maggie, and Anna, who is not happy that Brittany is on her date.
Nope.
And the card reads, "Let's fall in love."
Okay, and I actually loved this theme. Like, I don't know if it's a basic girl or whatever, but I was like excited about the theme of the date.
I didn't catch on to the theme. I mean, oh yeah, like once I saw the date, I got it. Not with the date card.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, like autumn. Yeah, so like I didn't know until I got there. I thought it was.
Oh, thank you.
But because you fall during rock. But now it's like fall. You know, pumpkins, scarecrows. Well, you know, this is great. This is what I need in the middle of winter.
This date
was funny.
I have such a problem with these weird dates that make no sense and have no real rules.
I know.
Like, so Ben Higgins is there.
Ooh, season 20.
And there's no reason. There's no reason for him to be there at all. But
like, Matt doesn't know this guy.
No, it's because Matt can't plan his own dates. Like Ben planned this date, Chris planned the last one and the next one.
I'm sorry. Ben Higgins did not sit down and be like, you know what? Let's have these girls paddle across the pond.
He might have been.
And who figured out that pumpkins float? Because this was news to me.
Really?
Right? What was that? This like
you guys. You live in the Midwest. You didn't know about pumpkin races?
I know. Yeah, this is something that is brand new to me.
You need to go to a farm.
and
You guys heard of Michigan Boys? Have you guys done
City thing.
Not a Traverse City thing.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not. I have never done it.
From the country, Kendra. I don't know.
Right. You're right. I grew up with cows in my backyard and chickens in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Also, another thing with these races, because they do a lot of like races on The Bachelor. Everyone wants to win, right? Because they think they're going to spend more time with Matt. But the person who gets the rose on the group date never wins the race. Like, so it's not like you don't want to win because you want to get the rose, so you're in for next week. But nope, everyone has to want to win, except for that one girl that wouldn't get out of the water. She obviously.
Oh my God, Maggie!
Oh my God, Maggie could not get her pumpkin to the other side of the river. It was so funny.
Me, I'd be like, I don't know how to paddle this pumpkin. Like,
who does? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Also, I don't remember who won. I didn't even take a note of it.
Mari won.
Mari
Yep.
wins. What did she win?
I don't. That's what I was gonna ask.
Acorns.
Was that it? That was the special prize. Nothing to do with The Bachelor.
That's what they showed us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird.
Is Matt really standing there being like, I need my future wife to be able to find a nut in a pile of leaves?
And
Oh gosh, who knows what it looks like under his pants?
And then the girl who hates Brittany hates Brittany, but because she's like, I can't find it. Where did she hide it? I mean, like,
I know. I was like, yeah, Anna hid her acorn, but where? Like, it's a one leaf pile.
Throw it?
Right? That's what I was thinking. I think she probably threw it into the field.
You're probably right. How did no one see that?
I know.
I don't know. This date was so weird.
It was weird.
But anyway, we get to the next part of the date. By the end of the race, Maggie was still at her acorn too, which is weird.
And her pumpkin, yeah. Which, by the way, isn't it? I think it's weirder that Matt wasn't really concerned about that.
Right?
Like, he just left her at the lake. Like, this is gonna be your future wife.
Bye. Also, she's definitely not getting enough screen time. I want to see more of her.
Me too.
I know. She seems really cool, and I want to know what's going on with her. So show us more. But we get to the after party, and Anna gets her alone time with Matt. And it all seems pretty surface. They're not really going into too much, kind of in the same ballpark as Queen, where they seem like pals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. They seem like they.
And Brittany comes in and says, could I steal him? The famous Bachelor line. Could I steal him for a minute? And Anna says, no. We're having such an important conversation. And that really gets the ball rolling for Anna to be mad at Brittany, because she's been boiling up until this point. She maybe thought she'd be more of a front runner. She's embarrassed, and that was really what tipped the camel's back, is when Brittany interrupted her one-on-one time with Matt. Yep. And Brittany goes into her one-on-one time, and immediately Anna goes to find Queen, and she dishes some hot gossip. So we are finally here, y'all.
Here we are.
Into it. So they're sitting down, and Anna essentially tells Queen that she heard a rumor from a friend in Chicago that Brittany was entertaining men for money and that she's an escort.
Yes. And it came a few different ways too. First, she said it was friends. She knew her in Chicago. Then it was friends knew her in Chicago. Then it was some random people on Instagram who were telling her. It was like, it came from nowhere. It was so unnecessary.
This story changed so many times.
I know it did. And it really it got annoying after a while. It's just like, do we really need to give so much screen time to anti-sex worker rhetoric? Like, it's 2021, guys. Come on.
I'm honestly surprised with as PC as The Bachelor's trying to be right now, which I love to see, that they would let this happen and not immediately make Anna be the villain.
Yeah, me too. It was weird.
At this point, it's, as the viewer, I know where I stand, because I'm very pro sex worker, and girl, I fucking hope Brittany's an escort. Get your bag.
Well, if that's fine, but wouldn't that be, her story to tell? Like, it's like, and it's obviously a profession that's controversial. I think if that's what she wants to do, great. Like, that's her choice. That's fine. But for someone else to say that this is her career and it's a controversial career, it's just not fair. And it's on a show that everybody's watching. The whole, it's a very, very popular show. So at least make sure before you go out and say that about somebody. I mean, again, if she is that that's fine. That's great. All the power to her. She should be proud of it.
Mhm.
But it's not. It's something that people are going to have opinions on.
Oh yeah, because it's 100% not Anna's place to say that.
Yeah.
It's not Anna's place to say if Brittany was like a veterinarian, it's not Anna's
That's what I
place to
was-
say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Say it.
Yeah,
It's not-
exactly.
And also, there's no validity behind that claim. Anna has no proof.
Mm-hmm.
She's all she's doing is stirring a pot right now that doesn't even need to be there in the first place. And
Right.
I feel like when she gets off the show, which is now, I feel like she's probably getting a lot of negative backlash from this
I
because
agree.
it is 2021 and there's more people than less who are pro sex worker and are trying to make that more of a less stigmatized thing. So girl, that was the wrong choice.
Yeah, I agree.
Someone's like a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I mean, someone could get offended if you say that. I mean, this is something not everyone's going to think positively on, and you're putting it out there, and it's just wrong. Even though it would be fine if she was, she's saying she isn't, and it's wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially once she finds out, like, okay, that's not accurate, you know? Like,
drop
why is
it.
she still digging this hole for herself?
Right.
But anyway, we get back to the date. Matt and Bree have a great conversation. It's cute.
Mm-hmm. It's
There we
cute.
go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see their connection continuing.
Yep. Bree's definitely a front runner in the competition. And we get our rose and Bree gets the rose. Yeah.
One moment about that I thought was hilarious, that when he is sitting down with all the girls to give the rose, which he doesn't normally do. Usually he takes someone off to give the rose.
Yeah.
It starts with, Brittany, our time together was really great. And Anna, our time together was really great. But neither of you get this. Like, how much
that line was said to
pissed
him.
Anna off. It probably was, but who even cares? Like, it pissed Anna off to be compared to Brittany now.
You know it. You know that the production was like, Matt, when you go in, I want you to say that you really enjoyed speaking with Anna and Brittany. And Matt
Or you said something about everyone, and they just cut just so those two.
Just Anna and Brittany.
Yeah.
So the date is over, and we go back to the hotel to see who is getting our one-on-one date.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is mad because, surprise, it's Michelle, the new girl. Everybody is like, we've been waiting 3 weeks to get a one-on-one date, and she's going to have more time than I've had in the 3 weeks I've been here. Well, girl, you're on a TV show. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Sorry. You should have had a better connection. You would have been picked.
Yeah. I do believe that Matt, or the Bachelor, picks who he goes on these dates with.
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
I think so. I don't think production.
I don't think so.
Production picked Queen would have been on one.
I don't think so.
What I've heard on the podcast I've listened to about The Bachelor is that they do decide, but like the producers help them because it's like you might really like someone, but you might not want them to be the first because then you won't see them for a while. So they kind of help you decide, but ultimately it is up to them. That's from what I've heard by listening to podcasts. I haven't been on the show. I'm not a producer.
I've
heard.
Yeah.
That sounds like
That
logical
seems
to me,
correct.
though. I mean, they are like supposed to eventually, they are ultimately they're supposed to get married. So I think you need to let them kind of choose who they want to spend time with and direct their own journey.
Mm-hmm.
But then throw in a little TV with it.
So we get to this one-on-one date with Michelle, and Chris has planned this one, baby. So
Chris planned the
never
date.
planning his own dates. And they're on a scavenger hunt where they go zip lining. They pop balloons to find their card, and they see hidden talents. It's real cute. She can like put her arms over her head or something. And then surprise, the end of the scavenger hunt is they're going in a hot air balloon. How romantic.
What kind of scavenger hunt was this, by the way? What were they looking for?
A hot air balloon.
They literally just went down the zip line, popped some balloons, and then got in a hot air balloon. Like, Or like scavenger hunt Chris Harrison.
And then be like, oh, there's a hot air balloon.
Right.
I summed it up perfectly.
But
and I love how when they're in the hot air balloon, all of the girls suddenly have binoculars that are this
right?
big.
Yes.
Where did those come from?
They provided those binoculars.
They're like, hey, around
Provided.
6:00, go to the back porch. Take these binoculars, and there's something for you to see.
I love it. I love it whenever the girl's not on the date can see the date happening. That's such like a Bachelor staple.
It really is.
Do it because I would if I liked a guy and another girl was going out. I'm not looking, but they must make the girls do that.
Not all of them do, but like
a shot of you on the balcony, and then
and then they're like, oh, fine.
Yeah,
it's like when they get to a new destination, not this season but other, and they're like, "We love that," or whatever they say, and they all like say it at the same time. It's like, yeah, that's real life. That's what we do.
Oh my God, we're all dating this guy, so let's all say we love him at the same time.
That'd be so cute. He's really like it. Romantic.
Obsessed.
I love it.
So they have their first kiss in a hot air balloon. How uncomfortable do you think the hot air balloon guy was?
I'm with you. That's my thought too. And in this scene, you could also see like the producers. They like kind of showed them a little bit. But yeah, like there is someone in the hot air balloon, and it's so weird to me because the space is this big.
I know.
I've always thought that about hot air balloons.
The guy and all the rest of the Bachelor dates, so he's probably used to it.
Have either of you ever been in a hot air balloon?
No, but I really, really want to be in one, like really bad.
Me and Adam went in a hot air balloon one time.
You did?
Yeah.
Where was it?
At Disney, so it was like barely a hot air balloon.
Oh, maybe Steph was working.
Huh?
Maybe Steph was working
at downtown Disney.
Yeah, like Disney Falls or whatever that is.
What is it called?
Like Disney Falls. It's like the
Disney Springs.
Yeah,
downtown Disney. Yeah, I still call it that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we did that one, and it was scary, even though it was on like a little line. It didn't, like fly away.
Oh my God,
but it was horrifying. And the last thing I'd want to do is make out with my boyfriend in front of a stranger in a hot air balloon.
It's so funny when you think about it that like they're in this space and they're all romantic and there's a guy just standing there or a lady. I think it's a guy though. I think they should.
It was a guy. It's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It was that. I don't know. Too much for me. No.
Right. 100%.
So we get to the dinner day aspect of this day, and they're in like a really random old car museum.
Yeah,
and there was like a table set up. I did not see any food on this date. It was weird. They bond over being teachers and kids, and they have a really great connection. Everything we thought from their first meeting gets confirmed.
This is when George Floyd got brought up, right?
When
George Floyd was brought up,
I understand is important. Like, Black Lives Matter 100%. But sometimes when I'm watching my reality shows, I don't want to be thinking about what's going on in the world. So, I just want to be like in my moment, and then it's like, oh, you bring up Black Lives Matter and the pandemic. And it's like, oh yeah.
I feel like we are in such a time right now where if you have a platform like that, you need to talk about it.
Oh,
It's almost to your detriment if you don't. Because
you're right.
Because
you're right. It is so important to talk about it. It is such an important cause.
Yeah, because if you do have a large platform and you choose not to speak on that, there's a whole demographic of people who might not be hearing what you have to say, because a lot of people watch The Bachelor, and I guarantee you there's people out there who probably didn't necessarily support the Black Lives Matter movement, and then maybe had their minds changed because they did hear it on like.
I hope so. I hope that could have
changed.
Or
or they can just like see themselves represented more truthfully, because if it's something that you're thinking about now, it's not like it is real. It doesn't just go away because you're on TV, and so now you can
I
see
know
people talking about it.
You want to like
So it's
want to focus in and forget the pandemic. So it's like you just want to forget about everything that's going on. But you're right. In regards to Black Lives Matter, you're right. We can't forget about it, and we do have to make sure we stay. And it's actually with the platform, you're right. I didn't think of it that way. I just thought of it as like you're taking away my fantasy world. But no, you make a great point. And I guess sometimes I think that like it's obvious that Black Lives Matter, but it isn't to everybody. So it's like one of those things that if we have something to talk about, and we can't let this George Floyd thing go away. We have to keep talking about it.
For sure. And so props to the Bachelor for making a conscious effort because we know in the past that I don't think that 5 years ago they would have said anything. So good on them.
Mm-hmm.
Good on them for creating the space. Good on them for making the effort. And I think it's far too, should have happened 20 seasons ago. But
this all should have happened years and years. It shouldn't be happening in 2020 or now.
But good on the Bachelor for making the space. We love to see it. So we do get back to the house. Matt does give Michelle the rose, and we get back to the house, and we get our next date card, and all the girls are kind of in a huff because they know that Michelle went on the one-on-one, and they're all on a random group date. So we have Katie, Piper, Serena P, Rachel, Kit, Chelsea, Jasenia, Lauren, Serena C, and MJ with note, are you willing to fight for love? And immediately they all know what's about to happen.
Yep, they do. We've seen it before.
So we see Matt on this date pulling a toboggan up a hill shirtless.
Yeah, I don't know what this workout montage in the woods was all about, but you can't get through an episode of The Bachelor without a montage of Matt working out.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It literally cannot happen. But
the show would be like 5 minutes shorter. Yeah, the toboggan was weird.
The toboggan of it all was very confusing to me.
He was using what he had available. His Peloton bike broke.
Peloton? What did you say?
What's it called? Peloton?
Peloton? Like a pelican?
Yeah.
Pelican bike.
Yeah, essentially.
So we find out that the girls will be boxing in a ring with a live audience that is just the rest of the girls.
Yeah, who do you think it is?
And surprise, this is the shortest lived date ever. They do 3 rounds and then Serena P gets punched in the face.
They all got punched and it was brutal. These girls were being mean. They were knocked. I'm glad none of these new girls were on there. Like someone would have been knocked out.
Oh, I know. This was brutal as fuck. Like, do you remember when they did this on The Bachelorette?
It wasn't
violent.
This was more violent than that for sure.
Yeah. And those men were like angry.
Yeah, they were mad at each other. Yeah.
This was bananas. And every time they do this, I'm shocked. Because I'm like,
how is this legal?
Right?
Like fight clubs aren't legal.
Like a little montage of them training, but like that could have only been like
training to hit each other in the face. Yeah.
No. He gets punched in the face. She starts crying, and Matt immediately says, "Okay, this is done."
It's not even interesting to watch on TV either. It's like girls beating each other up. We don't want to see them hurting each other. We want to see women knock each other out.
You know how many erections probably happened during that scene? People love that shit.
Such a wild day. I feel really bad, honestly, for the girls who had to go on the porn date and the boxing date.
I don't know which one I would rather be on. Honestly think I'd rather be on the porn date. I am terrified to get punched in the face.
Oh my God, I am not trying to get punched in the face.
No, I thought we were gonna get this cocktail party.
Porn is horrible.
No.
I feel like I feel especially bad for the girls that had to do both.
Yeah.
Third end of the stick.
You're like, okay, it's going to be in front of a live audience, and then the rest of the girls that are in the house because we're in quarantine.
Wild. So we get to this cocktail party, and Matt's having some alone time with Rachel, and she tells Matt that she's uncomfortable with the new girls, and they kiss. And I honestly forgot Rachel was here in this episode until then.
I didn't know Rachel.
Yeah, Bree and Matt kiss again.
Mm-hmm. I think Rachel's under the radar. I think that they have a connection and that it's just kind of chill. And I think that she's just flying low and that she's actually going to be in here for quite a while.
Yeah, for sure.
As soon as she needs her one-on-one. If she doesn't get a one-on-one soon, it might be the end of it for her. But I think they have a good connection.
I think she'll get a one-on-one probably, like,
in the next episode or two.
Yeah.
I agree.
Somebody that they like to throw in there every episode to remind us that she's here, so they wouldn't be doing that if she was going to be going home.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then we get the group date girls talking about the new girls and how mad they are about it. Again, common theme of the episode, except for Katie, who is defending them and saying, hey, maybe this isn't so cool that we do this. Maybe we should not be just dicks to all these people all the time.
Jane was like, I'm not going to stop.
Yep. And so then Katie says, you know what? I'm just going to go tell Matt about it. And we get to see the producers again. And they have a little conversation. And she just says, hey, there's some rumors that some girls are starting that could potentially ruin a girl's life, and it needs to get fixed. And Matt genuinely seems angry, and this is the first time where I've seen Matt actually take something that's being said that's a problem and not just be like, I gotta fix this. Like he's mad and he doesn't
he has an emotional reaction to it.
Yeah,
I usually hate it when there's like a girl that goes and tattles to the Bachelor.
Yeah,
this was not your normal
totally
situation. Like this was beyond bullying, and it was so important. And I felt Katie handled that with such grace.
Yeah,
I did too. I thought she did really well. Yeah, I didn't
make it about her at all.
No.
Yeah, and she didn't name drop anything. She didn't say a single name, so he didn't know who to. He couldn't be mad at anyone. He couldn't go point someone out. And she was just like, bad rumors, toxic energy, and I'd really like you to address it because this could be really damaging, and I think that you need to do something about it. Yeah. So I like that.
Receptive to it. Because a lot of the time when you get a tattletale, they go home the next episode.
Right. But I don't think she was tattletaling. The way she said it, because she didn't say any names or anything, it was just like, I'm making you aware of the situation. I'm not being catty. I'm not being
was
jealous.
Another level that we've never seen on The Bachelor. Like, usually, it's one of the girls and it's about something small. This was big, and they're all like laughing about the new girls and they think it's like funny and they're making fun of them. And it's just like, it's very uncomfortable because I thought our society was trying to like move away from bullying, like bring it into schools, more awareness and whatnot. And this is a total like reverse of everything that I thought we were moving towards. I know we're not there yet. Like I know that, but I thought like the fact that we're aware of it and schools are learning how to address it and that sort of thing, we were moving in the right direction. And it was really disappointing to see these girls being mean.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not surprised at all because it's The Bachelor. But good on Katie for being a very genuine person in that moment. So
yeah, you don't usually see that personality on the show.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see what happens next episode.
Me too, because that is it.
So with that being said, let's go into our superlatives of the episode. Let's get into our top love connection of the week. Kendra, would you like to start with who your top love connection was?
Yes, mine was 100% Michelle. I loved the way, I loved their energy. I just thought that they were very easy with each other. I thought that, she didn't come off as nervous at all. She seems like she's a strong woman. She knows who she is. And they have a lot in common, I think, just based on the fact that they're both educators. And so they can vibe on, and educators of like similar age children too. Mm-hmm. So like they can kind of vibe on that, which is like something that people don't always understand if that's your profession. So I thought they were wonderful. Like I would call it, I like her.
Yeah.
I think she's going to last for a while. And if she doesn't, I'll be really surprised.
Totally.
She was a breath of fresh air.
Steph, who is your top love connection?
I'm going to agree with Michelle. I think she could take it. Like, and it's weird that she's like a new girl and just straight up had that connection, but they look like they're like meant to be. I know it's not all on looks, but they just had that like way about them. And it made you happy to see. If it was last week, I would have said Serena. I really liked their one-on-one, but we didn't really see her this week. There's two Serenas, so the one that had the one-on-one. Yeah. I'm going to agree with Michelle. They really there's something about them together, and I'm rooting for them.
Totally. I think really the only person that I would consider possibly as in the top right now for me would be Katie, and that's because she did take a big risk. And it seems to be a risk that Matt is going to like. But I absolutely agree with ladies on Michelle. It's kind of hands down across the board.
Right.
And who is our hot mess of the episode? Steph, would you like to kick us off with who your hot mess express of this episode of The Bachelor was?
I will. So I think Anna's the obvious. However, I'm actually going to go with MJ. I think MJ had some weird, like, underlying really mean things. And the camera wasn't on her, but you kind of saw little snippets throughout the whole episode. And I just didn't like it. I thought she was being really rude. We saw a little bit of it with Sarah when she asked to speak to her. She was like, no. But this week we saw a little more of a bad side. And I didn't like it. I don't know how I feel about it. But so that's what I'm going with her this week.
Totally. Agreed.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, she wasn't my pick, but I'm really glad you brought that up because I did not like her at all this week. She was making me mad every time that she came on camera. I was like, will you please just shut up? Like you're just being mean. And you have like, who are you? You're barely on the show. Like you haven't had like any time with Matt. Like just go home.
Yeah. Did you say that she's your hot mess express, Kendra?
No. Actually, I think Anna is the obvious choice, but my hot mess express is Kim because all she could talk about was her freaking dog. And it's like, this is the first time you're meeting this guy. The first time. And you're coming in late. Like he already has relationships with this girl. And all she wanted to talk about was her dog. Like that's it. That's it. You look amazing in this dress. Like you stand out amongst these other women. Like you're not blending into the background at all. And that's how you're going to hook them.
You're Sharpay.
Really? Like, did you even get any pictures?
So my hot mess for the week, I'll just say it. It's frickin' Anna, dude.
Someone had to. Good.
Girl, it's 2021.
Why are you
sex worker is done.
Or is she even like, I don't even know if she is that anti-sex worker or if she's just like trying to throw Brittany under the bus and so she's making it a bigger deal than she really thinks it is. Like she's like, everyone else thinks this is disgusting. So
if saying someone is a sex worker is your ploy at putting someone under the bus, you're anti-sex worker.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Like, girl, not a cute look. Yeah. It's 2021. We are far, far past that. We are more educated than that now. Mm-hmm. Girl, go read a book, read the news. That ain't what it is anymore.
Right. Do they get paid to be on The Bachelor?
Yeah.
So she's just, I don't know, do they? If she does, she's getting paid to make out. And so she's getting paid to make out with this guy in a hot tub half naked.
Girl, so you an escort.
Yeah, bitch. Shut up.
Anyway, you know that it is time for us to leave. So, Steph, go ahead and plug yourself, Miss Thing.
Well, thank you so much for having me. You can find me on Instagram at Steph Greenspan. I don't have Twitter, but maybe soon. So So yeah, go ahead and follow me. I will post the link in my bio.
Nice.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Ken.joy.yw and Twitter at KennyJYW. See pictures of my cats and stuff.
And you can pretty much look up Alex Knows It All on anything, and you'll probably find me.
Because
And
Alex knows
as
it all.
always, follow Couch Potato Queens on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, QWNZ. And don't you ever let anybody dull your sparkle, guys. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye.